traitors, turncoats. Vote them out of office. With friends like this, who needs enemies? Now, that's what I read today online, a number of places, and things even more vicious. So I had to find out, what were they talking about? It appears that most of these comments were directed at 16 Republican senators for something they did today. Now, to be called a traitor, it's important to know what's going on. Well, as I looked into this, it appears that these 16 Republican senators are being called traitors and turncoats because they voted today to allow the watered-down version of the gun control legislation in Congress, in the Senate, to go forward to debate, rather than standing by other Republicans who wanted to filibuster it and keep any debate from ever happening. Now, I got to tell you, folks, this isn't traitorous action. This is what the United States Senate was created by our founders to be. The founders had two houses, the House and the Senate. The House was closer to the people. More representatives that were directly related to the proportion of the people, as opposed to the Senate, where it's 2 for every state. The House was the hothead. It was the throwing out the ideas and just being emotion-driven. The Senate was designed to be the deliberative body, the slow down, let's talk about this body. The body where debate over issues in legislation across the board was supposed to happen. That's why there is a United States Senate. Now, we may have forgotten this because of more of the last few decades where the Senate has been the stopping block, the I'm going to filibuster, we're not going to talk about it, we're not going to get anything done body. But that's not what the Senate's supposed to be. The Senate is supposed to be the place where big ideas, sweeping legislation, gets talked about in a deliberate, reasoned manner. Now, I think politicians are going to talk deliberately and reasonably is a stretch too, but that's what's supposed to happen. So when Lindsey Graham and the other 15 Republican senators voted to allow debate on the subject, they weren't saying, we agree with this legislation. We think this legislation is good. That's not what they were saying. They were saying the Second Amendment can stand a debate. The truth has no fear of debate. I heard many people on the internet say today, there's nothing to debate with the Second Amendment. You don't debate the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is the thing, and you never debate it. The Second Amendment is without challenge. Whose definition of the Second Amendment? How? Is it how you interpret the Second Amendment? How I interpret the Second Amendment? How my neighbor interprets the Second Amendment? Oh, there's only one interpretation. Right, because you believe that. I've heard people say, well, it says shall not be infringed upon. That means nothing can happen. Well, that's not true. We already, and most of us, except maybe the most extreme anti-gun legislation person, already has no problem that a 12-year-old can't go buy an AR-15. Or that a person with a criminal record can't pick up a Glock. We already have some slight infringements on the right to keep and bear arms. So don't tell me that the Second Amendment doesn't have any room to debate. And here's the bottom line. If your position is the truth, if your position is solid, why do you fear debate? Now, I know a lot of you will say, well, we're not fearing the debate. We just know that the Republicans don't have enough votes to outvote the senators, the Democrats, and so the bill will pass. Perhaps. You remember a couple of years ago, I think it was 2 years ago in Wisconsin, when the Democrats were outnumbered by the Republicans in such a manner that if they had voted on the union busting bill, even if every one of them had voted no, it would have passed. And they fled the state so there wouldn't be a quorum. They, in essence, filibustered by not having anybody there. And most of my Republican friends blasted them for not doing their job. I agree. You don't leave. Your job is to vote on it, even if you think you're going to lose. So that's the thing. We don't say, well, we're going to vote because we know we're going to win. You vote for what's right. That's what we want senators to do. We want them to vote for what's right. And here's the thing. Debate can often change minds. Not always, and I know we've got some very hard and fast people. But there are people on this legislation, which, my friends, has been so watered down. It's nothing compared to what the president asked for. It's nothing what the Democrats want. But it may be more than you think is right. Then have your senator and have them stand up there and debate the facts. When Senator Feinstein brings up her amendment to ban assault weapons, as they're called, or reduce magazine capacity, have your senator stand up and debate that issue and defeat the amendment. Have them do their backdoor dealings like they always do and try to convince this senator to, okay, come on, you know you're not completely for it, come away. But that's their job. It is wrong for them to sit there and do nothing. And this filibuster, yes, it protects the minority when the majority is overriding. But you never get anything done. And I'm sorry, unless you know that these folks are going to be able to filibuster for weeks on end, they're going to stop this filibuster at one point. And then the legislation will be voted on. Not debated, voted on. Senator Graham and the other Republicans who voted to allow debate and amendments on this legislation are the farthest thing from traitors on this issue. I don't agree with Senator Graham on a lot of things, but on this issue, he's right. Put the debate forward. Have the discussion. Bring the amendments. Because you realize the amendments don't all have to be adding negative things that you don't like. You can bring amendments that support what you agree with. Welcome the fight for the Second Amendment. Senator Graham, on this, you are right. All right, folks, you can listen to us on canIGetAWordIn.com. Our podcasts are there, videos, posts from ourselves and some guest contributors. We have a guest article about stopping abuse in the Greenville County and Greenville upstate area, South Carolina in general. You can also go to our Facebook page, Another Voice with Eric and Friends, and comment there and see what we have to say there. Subscribe to our iTunes channel, which is Another Voice with Eric and Jason. All ways to get in touch with us. And please don't forget, April 27th from 10 to 3 p.m., we're going to be riding on the Swamp Rabbit Trail raising funds for Strides Tutoring. That's Rides for Strides. There's a Facebook page. You can go to stridestutor.org and donate there, or you can come to our website, canIGetAWordIn.com. Join our team as a rider. There's a place to do that. Right at the top says Rides for Strides, and you can see there, or you can support, sponsor one of us, or all of us, to so much money per half mile. It's a 3-mile course, so there's 6 increments there. We'd love to have you involved. All right, until next time, get out there and make a difference.